Hello everyone, Hari Om, and welcome to the 28th episode of Sanskriti and Samskar. Today we have a very exciting topic. It's called the magical mysteries of tarot reading. So we have two celebrities on our show today. Let me introduce them one by one. May I request Ms. Diva Chugani to come on the stage, please?
Hi, thank you so much
Hi,
for having me here.
welcome, Diva. Welcome to our show. We are honored to have you in our show today. So
My
I'll quickly
pleasure.
introduce Diva to the audience. She's a registered yoga teacher. As short form is called RYT 500. I think 500 is the hours of training you have taken, if I'm not
Yes,
wrong, right? So
yes.
it's a very it's a very prestigious thing for a yoga teacher to complete this
Thank
training. And she's a certified yoga instructor and award-winning college lecturer on mental health and counseling also. She got the first chance of tarot reading 30 years ago by a college professor in the USA in exchange of palmistry skills. So you already knew palmistry skills, and in exchange you got to know the tarot reading, I guess.
you. Yes.
After which she learned and mastered the art, and her she is now spreading it across the globe to everyone. Welcome, Miss Diva. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Now I would like to invite our another celebrity speaker today. May I invite Miss Rani Motiani on the show, please?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Home
Welcome.
and happy Janmashtami.
Welcome, Hari Om. Happy Janmashtami. Jai Shri Krishna. So today I would introduce our second speaker, as I said. Ms. Rani Motiani is an event planner, and
Moriani, sorry.
Moriani, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Rani Motiani, Moriani.
No problem.
And she's an event planner, and she does destination weddings and milestone celebrations across Southeast Asia. So that is your core area of specialty, right?
Yes, that's
So you
our
also
main business.
so you also do big fat Indian weddings, which are always on page 3, I guess. So
Well,
she has always been interested in astrology and metaphysical science. That is a new term for me today, and maybe for many people in the audience, which maybe know in the more when we dig in the show. She has been an avid seeker of tarot readings, and she eventually learned the art and mastered it, and she's now offering this service to other seekers as well. So, welcome you both on the show.
thank
And
you very
now
much.
I would like to invite Dada Dayal Harjani on the show. And Dada, welcome, and Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri
Hari Om.
Krishna, Vishal, and Hari Om, and Jai Julelal to all the viewers, and a warm welcome to Diva and Rani.
Thank you.
Welcome to our show. Are you ready to answer all the questions that we have prepared for you?
Yes.
Diva, can you hear me? Can Diva hear? Looks like
Diva,
Diva
can you
cannot
hear
hear. Diva's Pradeep will have to do something quick for it. Diva, can you hear me? No.
Should I call her?
Yeah,
I can hear you,
something is
Uncle.
wrong with the system.
Let
It
me
was
just
working
give her-
before. What happened all of a sudden?
I'll just give her a call.
Pradeep can do. Pradeep, can you do something?
Yeah, Dada, maybe they are fixing. There's some glitch, so we'll wait for a minute.
Pardon?
We'll wait for a minute. Yeah, they are fixing the issue.
Yeah. But while they were testing, it was okay.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, no problem. Technology has its own pros and cons. So, Dada, what message you think? What do you want to
No,
say
I
to our
wanted
viewers?
to share with them since they are in metaphysics and
Yeah.
which leads to spirituality. I would
Right.
like to give a benchmark of qualities and or qualifications of a spiritual person. Who's a real yogi? Who's a real spiritual person, and what are the 5 qualities that he or she must have to be able to call herself or to be called a spiritual person, which I'll share with them later on. But first,
Sure.
let's get started with a interesting topic of tarot reading. Is Diva on?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Welcome.
Yes,
Finally, we
welcome
got
back.
it.
Thanks.
Okay, Diva, before we get started, I have a curious question. I understand that you were raised in Japan, right?
Yes, that's right.
Huh? So there is one question. Suppose, how will you say, how are you in Japanese?
Genki desu ka?
Okay, genki desu ka ne? So my query is that when a woman speaks, a female speaks, it's so sweet. But I've seen movies and on Netflix and other things, the men have a different tone. Their tone is very arrogant, or not arrogant, very harsh, maybe authoritative. Is this true in normal life? I
You're
mean, at
talking.
home, because at outside when people meet each other, people are extra sweet. But what happens when they are at home? Are they? Tell us about it.
Are you talking about the Japanese
Yeah, I'm
male
talking. Yeah, this
society?
is my personal question.
They're actually. I'm not talking about the gangsters, the yakuzas, but the Japanese men in general are very polite, from my
I see.
experience.
But when they speak at home, do they? Is there any harshness like the samurai people used to speak? Or
Pro- Probably when they get drunk, but otherwise,
yeah.
when they're sober, they're very, very soft spoken.
Oh, so it's kudos for the Japanese men then. Okay, I'm going to shoot a question for you first.
Sure.
Uh, what is is tarot reading a science or an art? My second question will be for Rani and for you both. But first question I'm directing to you. So what do you have to say to the viewers?
So for me personally, I think it's both. I think it's a mix of, like Mr. Vishal said, it's metaphysical science, and the art, of course, is there in the form of the graphics, the pictures. Um, it's a left brain science more than the right brain, I would say, just because it's tapping into the subconscious realm of a person's mind. It's energy based, and it's very creatively done, this scientific format of the tarot, because it's, you know how the Maslow's law of hierarchy, it divides our needs into particular groupings. So it's a similar concept with tarot reading. It's dividing the whole self into basic, at least my tarot reading, my tarot cards, they divide the basic whole person into 4 categories. And one would be the emotional, one would be the creative side of the person, one would be the mental, and one would be the physical, the materialistic aspect. So it's beautiful. You need to experience it to really understand how it's
So
a
this is
beautiful
about
mix
a
of all
person's,
kinds.
you're talking about a person's characteristics. But what if I ask you a general question about the world? You can answer the,
Uh, it won't be me answering per se. It will
yeah,
be the
okay, the
energy.
cast. Yeah, okay.
So we have to
Yeah, I
be
got
very
it.
clear about that. And I think Rani
Okay.
will agree with me. Yeah.
So,
Definitely. And
okay,
I would like to
got it.
interject. Tarot is predictive, yet there is a free will to the seeker who's asking the question. So it's not written on stone, whatever the cards are. It's a guidance more than prediction. That's what I would like to clarify with all
Okay.
our viewers, that it's more of a guidance than a prediction.
Okay, we'll experiment on that on the third question. But my second question is that how did both of you can answer one by one, uh, come to a conclusion that the interpretations of the card that is dealt or which appears is effective in producing the right guidance to the people. So first, Rani, can you answer that?
I've only recently started. It's been approximately 2 years, and when you hear feedback from your friends and family that when we did the reading for them, and then when they message you, when they call you and say that, oh, you said this, and it was 100% right, and it was not something I was expecting, but when we look back, it's exactly what you said. And that just, it's not, like Diva said, it's not us, it's the guidance from above. And I must say this, it's also the state of mind of the seeker at that very moment, and that can change over time. So it is a good idea to reflect back on certain things after a certain time, because of the situation of your mindset at that particular point.
Okay. What about Deva?
So I got into tarot reading, like Mr. Vishal said, I knew a bit of palmistry, and word spread on my campus while I was in uni in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Word spread on campus that, oh, this girl, this is 30 years ago. So you can imagine what a high it was for people to say, oh, she knows to read palms. And then I had a professor who knew to read tarot cards. And I thought it was bogus. I thought, how can people talk and guide people and quote unquote predict anything just with a bunch of pictures? This is crazy. So the professor came up to me and said, can we do an exchange? You read my palms and I will read your tarots. And in my head, I was laughing. I was like, what is she going to read? She actually could read and guide me that, okay, at this current moment, she was very specific. She said, there is a man, he's a bit dark skinned, and he is dangerous for you. And at that point of time, she said, be careful of him, and you will be careful of him. And I was being stalked by a security guard who had master keys to all the rooms. And it was a very scary time for me. So she could actually predict that. She could predict that I was very close to my grandmother. Her stars were guiding me from above. She could predict the people that I was going to meet within the next few months. And obviously, the only reason I started believing in the tarot readings was because everything was coming true within that span of time from then, and whatever she said about my past until the next few months ahead. And I remember one thing she told me. She said, you should also read tarot cards. And I felt like she was giving me blessings. So to make a long story short, I was stunned. I was amazed at how accurate her readings were. And she through her blessings, I bought a bunch of cards, and these particular cards were called the Rider deck cards, which I'm sure Rani knows, right? And the thing is, though, each deck of tarot cards are so different in energy. The energy of
Yes.
those Rider cards did not match with mine. I was finding intense confusion in reading and translating the pictures for people. So finally, I just surrendered to the universe, and I said, if I'm meant to be a tarot reader, I will. One fine day, one of my dorm mates, she just came into the room and she said, guess what? I went to a flea market and I found these cards, and I thought of you. Now, these are exactly the same deck of cards that were read for me by my professor. And they're called mythic tarot cards. They're based on Greek mythology, and they're very difficult to find. So the cards came to me when I surrendered, and my journey started from then on. I started reading my dorm mates' tarots and everybody else's eventually.
Okay, so my next question will be to Rani.
Yeah.
So, according to what I've heard now from both of you, this is a skill. Will you agree with that?
It's a it's a skill, and yet I would say it's also a gift, because the
Yeah, but
more I've
it's a
the
skill, right?
more, yeah,
Which you employ the aspect of intuition and logic, right?
correct.
Do you use
Yeah,
intuition in your when you're interpreting somebody or something?
yes,
You
yes, and
become
it's very,
quiet and listen to your inner voice also while
so
you're
what happens.
interpreting, or no? There's no intuitive
So
aspect there.
yeah, so what happens is, usually when we are sitting with a seeker, there's a lot of interaction, and there will be a voice which just guides you. It may not
Hmm.
show on the card, but there's like a guidance which the person needs, and it's like the voice is sort of telling you, this is the message for this person. It may not come in the cards, but intuitively you pick on it, although it may not show on the cards. So that is something very interesting. And I've noticed, the more you practice, I would call it practice, the more you do this, the more intuitive you get. This is very spiritual. It is connecting to the divine. And in my case, it started when I used to go to my teacher and ask her for readings and everything. Eventually, I said, I would love to do this because I've done numerology, I know astrology, the sun signs, I've done pranic healing. It's something which, as a Sagittarian, fellow Sagittarian, as Diva, we are interested
Hmm.
in the metaphysical things in life. And when I learned it, my teacher actually, and I thanked her for teaching me, she said, I've not taught you, I've made you remember what you already know. And that stayed with me.
Okay, correct. So then, if what is the difference between your reading procedure and Diva's procedure? You all have different type of cards, right? This is what I
Yeah.
understood.
So I also learned what Diva has learned. So I've learned four sets of different tarot reading, but I I enjoy the Raider White. We also have Osho Zen, and what Diva has is the Mythic Tarot, which is, I must say, it's almost like it's almost gone. Those kind of cards are very, very rare now. They're not in circulation. So I also have a set of that because I was seeking it. So what Diva is holding is not very easily available anywhere. Am I right, Diva?
So
Yes,
what
it's
is Diva
not.
handling? Diva, what kind of cards are you? What kind of cards or type of tarot reading are you
So,
expressing?
so as you can see, for example, okay, it's Ace of Wands, right? And
Yeah.
this card is in particular a symbol of Zeus. He's holding the world. He's got fire, creativity. So this is
Hmm.
Zeus, okay? So my
Hmm.
cards are based on characters, and each is like a story
How many
of
cards are those?
78 in total,
And the
22
one
major
Rani is
cards.
doing is how many cards?
Same,
Uh,
78.
Same
And we
78
have,
only.
yes,
So why the number 78? Is there some mystical mystery between 78?
So
Is
the
there
cards were
anything?
first created in the 1400s in Italy, but initially they were not created for prophecy. They were created as a fun thing. And the spiritual aspect came in the 1800s, if I'm not mistaken,
yes,
according to
in
the
the,
documentations.
yes.
So so I particularly think it's genius. I think that the 22 major arcana cards in these are it's a journey. It's a journey of a person's life. So it was very well thought out by the early mystics when they were creating this beautiful deck of cards, these tarot
Hmm.
cards. And it starts, you know how we have 0 to the what's the last, the
It's
13
21. 21. The
in
world is
any.
21.
So 0 is the guy who, the fool, they call him the fool. He's on a
Yeah.
journey, but he has no number. It's like 0, okay? And then it starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like Ronnie says, until 21. And then the rest of the cards are the minor arcana cards. So those are the cards that will give specific details.
So, if I were to
And
ask you a question, then how many cards would you deal for me to ask to answer a particular query?
Sorry, you're asking Rani or myself?
So, any one of you, anyone
To
Diva
can
me,
has a
answer.
different. I will let Diva explain hers, and then I'll take on to that.
sure. So I stick to this. I don't do any other deck of cards because this one came to me, it resonates with me, and I've tried different cards. And just my whole body just syncs with these cards. Okay? So when it comes to these cards, I would make you deal with all the cards first. I would ask you to shuffle them, put in
Hmm.
your intention, your question, your energy, and that's the basic step
But
that
now
most
I'm at a
tarot readers
distance with
ask.
you, and if I want to ask you a question, what will you do? If I want to ask you a question,
And then I would ask you to pick 10 cards.
10
And
cards. How do I pick at this long distance? Can you pick for
so
me?
the
She
beauty,
would
the
pick two.
beauty of the beauty of the readings are that because they're energy based, and
Yeah.
energy can go through any number of
Okay.
miles and
So let's
distance.
give a demonstration to the viewers so that they are all excited how this whole thing works and whether it's effective or not from their perspective. So either you or Rani can, I'll ask either one of you one question and then you all tell me what to do.
Oh, sorry, did you want to
Who-
know how Rani does her methodology is? Did you want to hear her quick version just for the viewers' sake?
Okay, Rani, you want to go? Shall I ask you a
Sure.
question? It's a nothing about me. It's a general thing. Okay, I'm very much concerned about the Russia-Ukraine war. So, what is your guidance, or how does the card see this going? Where is it going?
So before we start, Uncle, normally when we are with the seeker, I ask everyone to close their eyes for like 1 minute, center themselves, take 3 deep breaths. Now you're asking for a generic thing. So I think we
Hmm.
can still do that as a collective. And like I said, it's a guidance. And let's see.
Okay, so get your cards out and let us see. If, we can't see the cards. I would
I
like the
have the
viewers to see the cards. How
okay. The
do we?
cards are
Okay.
here. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
cards are here.
So,
And
you,
I'm
how
going to
many cards am I supposed to pick? 10 cards?
no, in my case, I always do three. And then when you have
3 cards.
further questions, yeah, 3 cards, which is the past,
Okay.
present, and future.
So, you know my question already.
Yeah. Okay. So, and we use left hand because that is the
Hmm.
intuitive one. Okay. So we have got, can you see this? This is the King of Pentacles.
Okay.
So
I
this is
saw it.
someone, yeah. This is, in this case, it would be a country, not a person. In this, it's a country who has a lot of money. There is a lot of funding.
Money.
Can you, yes, you see the
Yeah.
coin, this coin over here?
Yeah.
So the backing is there of somebody very powerful.
Hmm.
And can you see this character?
Yeah. What does
This
it mean?
this is called the Tree of Wands. This is somebody who's taking action
Hmm.
towards the future. So long term. This is unfortunately it is a
Hmm.
long term card. Okay.
Hmm. Okay.
And this is the common man. Can you see the common
So,
man?
third,
Third
what is
card.
this? Yeah.
They're exhausted. This is the
What does it
last
mean?
the sorry, this is sorry, this one. Can you see 9 of Wands? So there's the last ray of hope that this
Hmm.
ends soon. It's like on the last brink. The hope is there. They are everyone involved is exhausted and wishing for peace. That's what it is. Everybody wants peace. You can see.
So,
You can see. Can you see this man's body language.
Hmm.
Like he's
He
tired,
wants
he's
peace.
exhausted. Yes, and everybody wants peace.
So then, how would you interpret the three cards that you have pulled in one or two sentences? What was your interpretation?
So basically, this is bigger than what we think. It's not. It's what you see. There's something much more deeper because it's
Mhm.
got this powerful person behind it or country behind it.
So in geopolitics, we have learned that there are many people
Yes,
behind the Ukraine war,
correct. So
and
this is
this can
confirming
be
that.
manipulated. So, if I were to ask you or the cards, how long you think it'll take for peace to come?
So can you see the number 9?
Yeah.
So there's something very significant about the number 9 over here because that's the last card.
Hmm. So
I
that
would like to
means
interject. I would like to interject over here. As much as everybody wishes for peace and wants it to end fast, your free will, the free will of people involved in it, holds a major outcome to this also. So tarot is a mix of prediction, like I said, and free will.
hmm.
So the guidance is there. End it now. Do finish everything. Uncle, going back to Mahabharata, how many times Duryodhan was actually told not to go into war,
Correct.
right?
So
So
now I'm asking
yeah,
you, according to the cards, can
Ji,
you get an idea how long this war will take last? Can you figure that out or no?
it will go on.
It'll go on
It will go
perpetually.
on. This is yeah. See, this is. Can you see? They are
Yeah,
swords. There's swords over there,
yeah,
and there's a coffin, and the guy
correct.
is yeah.
So, according to you, the Russia-Ukraine war is a kind of continuous war, and
Yeah.
nobody knows the end point.
Diva, I mean, this is my prediction. What
Indication,
would
these
you?
are indication.
Okay.
Yeah, because
According
she
to your
knows this
card
is.
indication, but you cannot uh, indicate the last point or when it's going to end. No.
Yeah, because it's
So
just showing
all the drama
swords.
of peace and everything that people are trying to do is going
Correct.
to fall into deaf ears, huh? So
Hopefully,
nothing is going to
hopefully,
happen.
hopefully, somebody has change of heart, and
Hmm.
that's what makes it happen. Because you see, the King of Pentacles is a powerful being. The characteristics is full of ego. Power
Hmm.
gives you that. Power makes you invincible. When you have when you think you're the most powerful one, then everyone
Hmm.
else doesn't matter. You become invincible. Unfortunately, that's how it's always been.
So it's going to be an ego geopolitics
Yep.
based on ego and power. Okay,
Yep.
good. Thank you so much. I'll let
Thank you.
Vishal come online. But before I invite Vishal, uh, Diva,
Yes.
if
Same question.
no, the same cards were dealt for two tarot readers, would you have different interpretations, or your interpretations would be
So
to each
so
other?
my interpretation, if okay, firstly that first card, the King of Pentacles, basically essentially it would be similar to Rani's. The only little
Okay.
difference I would put in is that this is not a war. This is a form of economics. There is money involved. There, like she said, there's a powerful entity with a lot of financial, like a vast financial abundant, uh, like super wealthy basically, and And so there is a generation, a generate income generating from this war.
So there's a
So
money, a lot of money involved in
it's
this
not,
thing.
it's a form of, whether it's weapons, whether it's giving, if the West is providing financial
Mm.
stability, quote unquote,
Mm.
to Ukraine, and then there is Russia who's trying to hold on to Ukraine for financial stability, right? Then it's all about money. It's an income thing. It's like a business happening. It's not a war, is would be my interpretation. And
But
that's the reason it's
is
not going
this
to end.
so many people are dying and there is a war? I mean, you cannot. Uh, it may be a business, but it's a
But
war type of business.
we had the same thing, whether it's protesting, whether it's COVID, whether it's the pharmaceutical companies selling junk food. There is a form,
Mm.
in sociology we call it, if there is wealth there will be poverty, if there is peace there will be war. So here it's not, this is not something that the nations are seeing as a war, the inner nations, the leaders of these inner nations, they are seeing this as an exchange, of a business exchange happening instead. And so, and the other thing I would interpret a little differently is that the final card, the nine, I would say give or take, another decade at least, minimum, for this war to be prolonged.
10 years,
In
huh?
my cards, when I get, yeah, when I get a number, it's usually a specific indication. So if I had got a nine, I would say around figure of a decade for it to continue.
Oh, so there is definitely a remarkable interpretation depending on one's background of knowledge and intuition. So everybody will interpret. There'll be variations. Okay, good. I'll let. So before I leave, since you girls are mystically, metaphysically inclined, and do you know the five qualities of a spiritual person? How can you evaluate a yogi or a master or a spiritual student or a spiritual master? There are five qualities which I will share with you at the end of the show. Meanwhile, you can contemplate on it, and if you want to tell me, you can tell me before I end the show. So now I'll request Vishal, please go ahead and ask your questions to these lovely ladies, and I'll come back when you ended. Okay, bye.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Bye for now. Tell
So,
Pradeep. Right.
yeah, hi. So,
Hi.
yeah, I'm back, and I have three quick questions. The
Yeah.
first one is that when you this is the question is to Rani. The first the my question is that if you someone asks you a question or a query about their personal life, and someone comes and asks you about a professional life, then do you use a separate mindset for the same, or it's the same energy which flows? How does it differentiate in personal and
So,
professional life?
so the same card can have various meanings, and you apply it according to the situation, what they are seeking for, and the cards around them will guide you further.
Okay, okay. So,
And
so is the question is more important, or the intent is more
intent, definitely the intent. The You could ask one question and suddenly get cards, and I'll be like, how come this card is coming out? And then when we actually break it down, it totally makes sense. So it's the intent of the person asking. And very interestingly, sometimes we also get some cards where, whereas I have been taught, like, when this card comes at a particular spot, it's not time to it's not time to know the answer for that question. And Diva knows I've done that to some of the young children who had asked me certain
My
questions.
my daughter is a big fan of Rani, by the way.
Oh, nice. Very good. Very good. Nice.
So yeah, so then actually sometimes the cards will come to a point where it's like, don't ask this question right now, come back again. And i as a tarot reader, if there's no fixed answer, I will openly say now is not the time to ask this.
Mhm. So you'll deny it, like answering it straight away.
Yeah. So, and there's nothing wrong. In fact, I think it's more authentic when you are real about it, because
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
then you know nothing in life is 100% sure. So even the tarot is like
Mhm.
one of the guidance, like I explained. So it's
Mhm.
good, and there are times where the person is not supposed to know what they have asked. So this is very interesting how it plays out.
How important is the mood of the tarot reader, and how does it influence? Does it influence the answers if the tarot reader herself or himself is not in a good mood, or maybe in a
More
different
than
zone altogether?
I think more than mood, it would be in alignment. So if I'm not feeling well, I wouldn't take another client, because end of the day, it is energy. So
Yeah.
yeah, like Diva said, she would also do the same thing. I don't think moods. No, in fact, if anything, I think this definitely brightens my mood.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think more than mood, it is about the frame of mind that we are in. If we think that we are the doers reading those cards,
Right.
we're not using the subconscious mind. We're not going into our intuitive selves. But if we are, like Ronnie said, grounding ourselves at the beginning, I think each tarot reader has their own way of grounding themselves. And for example, for me, I will use this stone given to me as a gift by a friend, and I will ask uh, my clients to hold this with me, and together we will just align ourselves together, and I'll actually tell them that I am the instrument who
Yes.
is right. We are the instruments that are just pouring out the messages intuitively, and those are the readings that work the best. So technically we're not doing anything. there's no
Right.
there's no reason to be tired, there's no reason to feel moody if we
Right.
are in that
Right.
element, that alignment of, okay, we are
Yes.
not the doers.
Understood. Understood. So I have a very interesting question for Diva. A very
Sure.
interesting question. I think
Okay.
you'll love to answer this. So, since you
Okay.
said that 30 years before you were into palmistry, that's a long, long time, and you exchanged your, your skill with tarot reading. So now my question is, since you know both, of course, Rani must be also knowing, but just you, since you know both the vidyas so well, so my personal experience, maybe many viewers will connect to this question. In palmistry, what happens, or in astrology, whenever we go with our kundali or we show our hand to, to the respective guru or the person who is seeing our, the palm. So then what happens, what experience happens in that particular vidya, that first he or she tells you about your past, like you are facing with this problem, your health issues, finance issues, and then they will tell you about the current situation. And if you connect like 70-80% with that particular conversation, that what he's saying is right. Oh yeah, he knows the subject because whatever he said is right. And then when he tells you about the future, like you should not do this, you should wear this stone, or you should do this puja, or whatever remedies, or maybe he gives you for about the future. So what happens is your confidence is created because he told you the right things about your past and the present. So you trust him for the future. This happens, right? I have experienced this. So in tarot reading, what is important, past, present, future, or is same thing happens here, or people just relate to what you're saying? How does it work here? Because I've never taken a tarot session till now, and many must have not for sure. So, if you can explain this?
Sure. In this particular method that I use, I do talk about, I start with the present moment, the exact concrete current present moment, and I talk about the minds, the two minds, the conscious, the subconscious, and I talk about the recent past, the recent future, and then the remaining four cards will talk about the events leading up to what the outcome is. So it's everything, basically, all the timings.
So
Is that,
people,
does that
do
answer your
people,
question?
yeah, somewhat. So I'll further down ask one more question later. So do people retaliate, or they sometimes be more interactive during the session that what you said is not right, or what you said is really very good? Continue. I want to stop. Something like that. People do.
So every
Or they
tarot
just
reader,
keep listening. Yeah.
um, okay, so for me personally, I always have this disclaimer before I read anyone's card and
Okay.
cards. And I say that, okay, I need you to understand that these cards are not the be all and do all of your life. That whatever
Mhm.
I'm saying doesn't mean that it will happen, because you are above the cards. Similarly, when I read palms, I say you are above your lines.
Mhm.
It's all here. How we think determines, it starts, the seeds starts from our thoughts, right? So how
Mhm.
we think determines our emotions, our actions, and so what is predicted is based on the current an analogy, the current wholesomeness of that person, which
Okay.
again, it can change based on the belief system, based on the thinking.
Right.
So, and yeah, and I also tell them, and do you want to know everything? Is there some filter that you want? Because in psychology, we know that not everyone can handle what the
Mhm.
cards guide or say. And so if someone says, yeah, just tell me the good things, then I will make sure I filter it. If someone says, I want both, I'm like, okay, you asked for it, so I will give you both. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm very careful with
Right.
how I interact with each client.
So one more thing, when you go to events like Rani, sorry, thank you for the answer, Diva. It was really insightful. One question to Rani that since you are into events, I have also attended many events or marriages where you have destination marriages, 2 night, 3 night stay, 4 night stay.
Ji, ji.
So people as an event, I have seen bring in palm reader, or maybe
Some
pandit
readers, tarot
in the event,
readers.
where the baratis or the invited guests get time to engage because they have lots of time. So what to do in the whole
Correct.
day? So they go to that pandit and say, "Okay, mera hath dekh lo." And similarly, you have tarot card readers in these events where a person
Correct.
is not inclined to go for a palmistry session, but since it is available for free and I have nothing to do, they go and check. So still the same energy comes in, or or it's just
Yes. No,
how
no,
it
no.
happens.
The energy would still be there because you're interacting directly with the person, in fact, right in front of you. So yeah, definitely. The person needs to believe that even if trying it, they need to trust it. What is gonna come, and then people sometimes go to test the person. Also, I was that person who would just go and test people. I didn't believe in tarot. I used to get scared of tarot. That I don't want to do tarot because it has the death card. I used to get scared, and look at me today. I'm a tarot reader myself. So same like Diva, even I say before starting any session, I say that the answers will be what you need to listen, not necessarily what you want to get the answer for. And yeah, in terms of grounding, we do the breath. I I did with Uncle Dayal earlier. Connecting with the breath is the best way to be in the present moment and ground yourself.
And what do you, anyone can answer this question, what do you rate the energy of the session online and offline? For example, if you ask me that online session, how do you rate from 1 to 10? 10 is the highest amount of energy and 1 is the lowest. So if you go online session, if you do online session with a client or any person who was inclined to take a session, how the energy level is from 1 out of 10?
Surprisingly, some of my best readings have been done online, and it's been wonderful. Diva, I'm sure you must have faced similar also.
So I never, just as I initially thought tarot reading is crap, okay? Because how can people read and guide you just through pictures? After overcoming that first belief and realizing that, my goodness, there's so much power in these cards, years later, the person who taught me how to read, the professor, I got in touch with her, and she, bless her, her name is Annie Pluto. She was going through a crisis in her life. And I just reached out to her to tell her, thank you so much for teaching me the skill. And she said, hold on. Can you do me a favor? Can you read my cards for me? She was in America. I'm in Hong Kong, and I'm like, how am I going to read your cards online? And she said, I will teach you step by step. And so
Okay.
she taught me step by step, and it was as though the universe was giving the lessons to me full circle, because that same person is connecting with me, guiding me. And then when I read it for her, and I was just like so honored, I'm like, I'm reading an online tarot session for my guru, for my tarot guru, because she wanted guidance. Wow, of all the people, she wants it for me, and she trusts me. So I gave it all I had, and I told her whatever the card said, and then she guided me. She said, yeah, so this card means this as well, and this card means this as well. And she thanked me, and so I'll never forget that reading. And after that, yes, a lot of my clients are online tarot clients. And like we said, energy doesn't stop at a 3D level. Energy can transgress countries. It's mind-blowing. It's energy. That part's the science and spiritual as well.
Interesting. Very
I want to
interesting.
share something. Um,
Yeah.
I had done an online session, and I was fine. And during the session, suddenly I felt a little sore throat. And I asked my client, I'm like, do you have a sore throat? She said yes. And that actually sort
Wow.
of and then the moment I finished the session, I was fine. So that actually
Amazing.
confirmed that I have goosebumps right now also.
Yeah.
That how powerful the energy can connect with you.
Very nice. Very nice. Dada, can I take one more last question?
Yeah, go ahead. It's all yours.
Sure. So I'll ask this question. Any one of you can answer, or both can answer one by one. Like, is there any kind of living pattern or something you have to follow as a ritual every single day to be a successful tarot reader? Like, for example, in Brahmins, you always say that they meditate, they do chanting, they refrain from non-veg food, and they do a lot of study. There is a routine for pandits, the traditional pandits. So something like that. Is there any specific routine you guys follow? Then you can have more energy in your readings, or you just live a normal life and just you sit and start reading tarot. How does it work? I wanted to ask. I'm very curious to ask this.
Diva?
So, sorry, by the way, is my camera okay, or is it frozen?
No, Eva, your
Frozen. It's frozen.
picture gets frozen.
Okay.
There are no lip movements.
Alrighty.
Try again, yeah.
Your,
But I think when I
your
see this,
your personality is also like frozen.
Can you check that out? Sometimes, Vishal, I wonder. Deva said she learned tarot card 30 years ago. And she
I
learned
know it's
palmistry. So I wonder where she learned palmistry when she was 10 years old or what?
Um,
Good one. Good one.
Yeah. So I think
Diva,
what
where are you? Okay,
Jiva,
till Diva sorts out her
her
what you call
screen.
what the
Still,
mic.
you can talk because I think your screen is free since long time, so I don't think it'll get solved so early. So you can
Rani,
talk. We
you
can hear you.
obviously you charge for your services, right?
Now I've started, Uncle. Like couple of months
So
ago, I've
that's
started. Gee.
so then you said that you will do the reading only if you're in the mood. So
No, I
then,
didn't say mood. I said if there's no such thing as in the mood. In fact, I said if I'm not well, that's when I don't do it. But there's no such thing as being in the mood to do the reading.
when you're not well, you'll. So
Yeah,
I
because
thought
it's
you will accept if you'll accept payment from the people according to their moods.
no, no. It's like I said, my mood in fact brightens up when I look forward to my tarot session. So going back to Mr. Vishal's question, I
Yeah.
can say this: Pooja and I together, both of us are not drinkers, and I think when you do such things, when you're connecting to the energy, alcohol in our Indians they say is tamas, the lowest
Yeah.
form of energy. And surely Diva and I don't need alcohol. We can dance without alcohol. Both of us love dancing. Both of us, we are very similar in many ways.
Did I
So
hear the word dance?
yeah, both
You
of
said,
us.
did I hear the word dance?
Yes, yes.
So where do you dance?
Uncle, I dance at home now. I don't dance in parties because I'm the one doing the parties.
Okay, do you have any special dance place or lessons in Hong Kong or what?
Uncle, I'm a natural one. I watched Madhuri Dixit and grew up with her in front of my TV. But Diva is a trained Bharatnatyam dancer.
Is
Wow.
it?
Amazing.
But for people like us who want to dance, there are many people who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s. They want to
Gee,
pass their time dancing. But dancing is a way of release and being
yes,
happy. Do you
yes.
know any place where we can arrange a dance session? Like
I
you,
think we
Harry,
should
me,
ask
we can
Diva
do
to do
something
that.
together.
Yes, definitely. I think we should ask
Ballroom
Diva to do that.
dancing or salsa or
Yeah,
whatever. So
yeah,
arrange
we can ask.
something so everybody will be
Definitely.
happy. So people are
Sure.
bored of life, sitting at home with their wives and fighting. They need a change. I think it's time that you arrange with Harry, since you're in
Gee,
Revels events, arrange a
gee,
dance show so people can learn ballroom dancing, cha cha cha. You know those old melodies and style, not the
waltz.
today's style, which
Yeah,
more
waltz and everything.
monkey
Yes.
style, not that. Something more graceful where
Gee, gee,
people can
gee.
pass evening time properly. Anyway,
Diva's back. Welcome back, Diva.
Diva has
Hey, I'm
come.
back. This is the other thing. Technology and we still have to dance together.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
Correct.
different energy with my.
so I would like to take this opportunity to express my view that life, people are not happy, people are not healthy because the dance is excluded from their life. So I think it's very important that dance is included. So
Yes,
once a week or once a month, if you guys can arrange something, then people of all ages can come and dance.
I think we can work on that. Right, Diva?
Yeah. Okay.
I,
Vishal, do you
I
have
think
any question?
uh, I'm like Ronnie. I
Yeah,
would dance at home, and I'm happy
Like
to now
Vishal asked,
collaborate with
again,
people.
Diva's thing has gone frozen.
Oh, great.
Diva,
Oh,
something
no.
is happening with your.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
That's totally fine.
It's so weird. I can see
Okay,
myself. I can see
you
myself
asked all the
talking.
questions. Have you
No,
answered
no,
Vishal?
yeah, she has answered. If Diva wants to add something because she
Yeah,
went
but
offline.
Diva's thing is frozen now, so we don't know
But
whether
we can hear her. We can hear
she's
her.
around or not.
No, no,
She
she's there.
is
She's there.
It's a
very much
mystery.
there.
I have no idea what's
So
happening,
we'll
but it's some
so we'll
energy,
talk to
something.
Rani and hoping that she's listening to us in the background. So
She's
we are coming to
back.
the close to the show.
Ji,
Vishal, any question you have?
Yeah, I'm done with my. There's there are lots of questions to ask, but I think
So ask
most of them I've
ask
covered.
Rani if you want. Why don't
Sure,
you
I
go
can
ahead
ask
and
Diva
ask
as
Rani?
well. She's also there.
Hmm?
So tarot reading. You said how many numbers of cards? There's a fixed set, right? Like we have a deck of cards of 52. There's a fixed
yes,
set,
78. 78 cards.
78. And always when you sit with the full deck of 70.
Yes, yes, you must.
And during the session, do you ask questions more, or the other person who has come for a session, they ask more questions, or it is equally interactive?
It's equally interactive. We also ask sessions, especially when we do personal readings, because we need to get a clarity on which direction the cards are also leading us to. So we also ask certain questions back sometimes if required.
But you don't need any history background, nothing. Just you sit and it gets connected.
Most of the time, yes. Sometimes to clarify certain points, we need to ask them.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this is a great form. It makes sense because normally people, they do a briefing before doing anything, and this is just sitting across the table and with the cards you connect. So I believe, yeah, it's a great form of energy, and the way you both are practicing, and since so many years, I'm sure it will help our audience to connect more and start believing more in this form of energy. And yeah, that's good.
Actually,
So sounds good.
Diva has been doing it for long. Mine has been very recent, just 2 years.
Still, 2 years is
But
not
regardless, it's all
yeah,
about intuition. Both Rani and I are spiritual seekers, and we do
yeah.
practice a lot to get in touch with our inner selves. So it's so beautiful that the time is irrelevant. My 30 years and her recent journey of tarot reading is it's both are beautiful in their own way
Hmm.
because
Yes.
we
Yeah.
thrive.
So before you went offline, I was asking the same question which you answered now. That there is some routine you have to follow to maintain your energy levels.
I
So
think
you answered
I
that.
think being in touch with our authentic selves, I think that's the most important thing. Not just for tarot reading, but for anything, including mental health, emotional health. And
Right.
as long as we can do that, be in touch with our authentic selves, I think we can accomplish anything. That's my
Yes. True.
belief.
Very true. Very true. Very true.
Always, always.
Including
Better.
including dancing, as Uncle wants
Yeah. Yeah.
with his
Yeah.
vision.
Right. 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 Right.
I'm sure many people will join if it can be done in a nice manner.
Yeah,
Anyway,
definitely. Yeah.
Vishal, I'm going
Yeah.
to ask Diva and Rani, since they say they are spiritual seekers, the 5 spiritual attributes of a spiritual person. Does anything ring a bell to you, or shall I just spell it out for you girls?
Um, Uncle, you go ahead. I have 1, 2 points in my mind,
Hmm.
but would
Diva,
love to hear. Yeah.
okay. I feel there are 5 divine states of consciousness. Person who claims to be spiritual or who is found to be spiritual, number one quality is selfless love. He must be having selfless love, that is selfless, not conditional love. Okay. Number two, there's the word Kabir Sahib has said, karuna, which translates into English compassion.
Mercy. Oh, compassion.
Any person who does not have compassion or karuna can never go ahead anywhere in the domain of spirituality. Number three, he should have something called sympathetic joy. Joy that has got a sympathy in it, not a joy that is selfish. Because normally joys you get when you are selfishly indulged in, or you laugh at people or mockery people. That's not the joy that a spiritual person has in his heart. It's a sympathetic joy. You get the tone of it, Rani?
Yeah, yeah,
No, Deva can hear. So that is number 3. Number 4, he should have spiritual equanimity. When in a state of equilibrium, shanti. In all cases, he is calm. And if at all he gets into a fit of anger due to adharmic people, it's just for a short while. So he's in a state of spiritual equanimity when he's by himself. And the last one is called affectionate detachment. You just make a note of it. Because when you tell people detach yourself, people detach themselves out of agony, out of anger, out of some kind of feeling of guilt. Oh, she did this, he did that, so I'm going to be detached. No, that is not detachment. Detachment, affectionate detachment means you have affection for all, you have love for all, but you are detached in your relationship. You are not attached. You get what I'm trying to say? So
yes.
these are
But
the
for
five
that,
attributes
that
of a spiritual person that composes his entire
all right.
framework, spiritual personality. Now I'll request Vishal to conclude today's show with
Yeah,
a small prayer. And
yeah.
meanwhile, Rani, thank you very much for coming. And Diva, thank you also very much. Even though
Thank
you're
you.
frozen, you're
Gosh,
but I hope we can
sorry about that.
unfreeze itself when we talk again.
Gee,
Okay? Okay. Vishal, you're on.
Yeah, sure, sure. So yeah, I would like to thank Rani and Diva and Dada Dayal. Always, like, you always curate the wonderful shows, and people all across the world, they come to know about new topics and meet new celebrities. Yeah, so this show is going on well as of now, and we are on the 28th episode of this show, which is successfully running. So today is Lord Krishna's day. Every day is a Lord Krishna's day, but being a special day of Janmashtami, I honestly don't have a prayer because I can't recite Sanskrit very accurately. But yeah, some thoughts I would like to share on this day. The Krishna is, of course, it's all about the divine energy. Ram and Krishna have been the roots of the Hindu belief, or belief of India, you can say. So when you talk, as we spoke a lot about energy today in this show. So Krishna is himself the one of the highest forms of energies, or maybe the highest form of energy which people have experienced, and all over the globe, not only in India. And
yeah,
Krishna has been seen in many forms of life. People relate to Krishna very well, and they understand things. So here it goes. It says, because everything is born of me. Krishna is saying, because everything is born of me, I am the original source of all. So this is referring to the light, which every religion follows a particular light. So he's talking about the light, and says everything is under me. So he's the source, and we are under him. Under him means under his energy, under his umbrella, under his sky, and no one is above me. So that again authoritates the highest form of energy, and there is no supreme controller other than Krishna. So this is one. These are the thoughts I wanted to share about Krishna, and as it relates to energy. So yeah, thank you very much, and have a great week ahead. Today is Monday, and wish you all a great, great
Weekend.
Janmashtami to celebrate.
Yeah. You thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hari Om. Om
Hari
Shanti.
Thank
Om. And Diva has again disappeared.
you.
We don't know where he is. I think Sanjay is going to get it from me tomorrow. Something is dreadfully wrong. I wish she could have come more often on the stage because I wanted to ask her a particular question for tarot reading. So we'll have to do
Gee,
it separately then. Okay,
no problem.
Vishal, shall we
Yes,
say
sir.
our goodbyes?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, goodbye then. Jai
Thank
Shri
Thank
you.
you.
Krishna.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Rani. See you again